zone with her rise and with her curve. That drop ball has had great movement to it, but her rise ball is the pitch that she goes to the most, and it gets a 40% chase rate where hitters chase that pitch with her out of the zone.
She's really tried to emphasize making that drop ball a better pitch, but a rise ball specialist as a sophomore. She'll hit as well. This will be our third two-way player in the 4 teams in the 2 games tonight after Nyjah Kennedy and Aaliyah Binford. Lindsey Grimes going to get the start opposite her for Oregon, an All-American pitcher for the Ducks. Oregon 53-8, UCLA 54-11. This is going to be fun. The Ducks and the Bruins for the 4th time this year. And we begin with a strike from Caitlin Terry to Kai Lushar. 9:47 Central, 7:47 in Eugene and Westwood. It's a 64-degree night, and they are pinched way in for Lushar, who slaps one out of play.
She's so fast, so the infield is going to be playing in to be able to protect that ground ball against her speed. The corners are in. You have to be so quick with Lushar at the plate to lead off this game.
Takes up and away for ball 1. The Ducks 7.9 runs per game, 4th highest scoring team in the country. And Kai Lushar 2nd in the nation, 60 infield hits, only behind Arizona's Reagan Shockey. And she'll flip one out of play on a 1-2.
She's such an interesting defensive set here with how in the infield is played, and then the outfielders, especially Clements out in center field. She's playing the wall. Out in center field, deep, the Audis are playing.
Kai Lushar does not have a home run this year. She's typically not going to hit it that deep. 3 doubles and a triple. Everything else, the other 78 hits are singles. On 2-2, flips one out of play again to the left side, and she is an instant thorn in Caitlin Terry's side. There are a lot of 30 players in this Ducks lineup. Oregon coming off a sweep of Liberty in the Super Regional. They hosted it as the 16 seed. And a strikeout to begin the game. Well, we talked about that rise ball for Caitlin Terry, but she's added some new elements to her game.
This drop ball that she's able to actually throw through the zone has a little bit of a curve to it. You see how she finishes on top of it with her shoulders and her hand coming on top of this pitch to get on top of the drop ball and create that down movement.
Kedri Lushar grounds the first pitch out of play. Just the 15th time Kai Lushar has struck out this year, and now her slightly younger sister. They're both seniors. Kai's been in college for another year. Kedri is 2nd team All-American with an OPS 1199. She's in an 0-2 hole. Ducks had to come back from a loss in day 2 of regionals. Play a couple of games with Stanford on the winner-take-all Sunday and beat the Cardinal in walk-off fashion to make it to the Supers. Outside. It's just outside. Jim Bertuzzi, the plate umpire, letting us know that for ball 1. So Oregon has been tested. A couple of walk-off wins, including game 1 over Liberty for Missy Lombardi's team. Tap back to Terry, who's got 2 quick outs.
Now, it did sound like you could hear in the dugout maybe they have already picked the changeup of Terry. Remember, a lot of familiarity in between these 2 teams with having played each other in conference. Sounded like some noise out of the dugout, already picking that changeup, but Terry will continue to throw it until they prove that they can hit it.
That's Sam Marder, the third base coach, talking to Riley McCoy. The base coaches are often so important. The folks who lead the way close to the pitchers, try and pick that pitch. Sam Marder down at third. Alyssa Palomino Cardoza, great Arizona player a few years ago, is over at first. This is a young staff that has really rejuvenated this program.
Dad, that's off the knob.
Jim Bertuzzi vocally letting us know that's off the knob.
was. It's a great call.
Dead, that's dead, that's dead, that's off the knob. That's off the knob, foul ball.
I love the clarity from our umpiring crew. Strike two with a changeup there has McCoy a little wide-eyed.
Well, I didn't hear that one called from the dugout, and that was a good-looking pitch. The other one sat up a little bit that she threw that it sounded like they had picked, and that one had some down break to it to get ahead 0-2.
Ball.
There's the harder drop down and in. Caitlin Terry gets Riley McCoy. McCoy was 3 for 9 with a double, a homer, and 3 knocked in. And the series win over UCLA in April. Ducks took 2 out of 3. And McCoy takes ball 2.
And it looked like she backed off the plate a little bit, seeing that Terry was pitching her inside with both her rise and her drop. So Terry goes outside, noticing that same thing.
Terry looking for a perfect first. And McCoy will make her work at least one more pitch. Big-time hitter, Riley McCoy, who's from Oaks Christian School, just 29 miles from UCLA, plucked right out of Bruin territory. And the best power-hitting freshman in the country with that .850 slug.
And the thing that makes her such a tough out is that she has power to all parts of the field. When you look at the home runs that she's hit some to the left side of the field, pull power, most of them up the middle of the field to center field, and a couple towards the right side. Power to all fields.
Waits back on that changeup. You hear that one picked?
Maybe a little bit, but
So I've been a lot quieter in this at bat.
there's so much crowd noise, but that one that sounded like the full dugout going all in was the one that I heard for sure.
Outside.
You can hear the dugout talking a little bit. It's a constant thing that happens down there on the field, communicating to the hitter, trying to get in the pitcher's head a little bit, trying to act like you have a pitch picked that you might not really.
Maybe just a little first inning gamesmanship. 3-2. Struck out, but the ball gets away from Ramirez, and McCoy gets to first. That rise ball almost made it into the press box.
I was ready to catch it up here, and McCoy still swings at that pitch, trying to protect with 2 strikes. Well out of the zone, getting her to chase.
A strikeout wild pitch. So the Ducks have an unusual first base runner. And a strike now to Paige Sinicki. The leader of this Duck team.
Strike.
There's a changeup for strike 2. Special player, special person, Paige Sinicki, making her 191st consecutive start at shortstop. Missy Lombardi gives her so much credit as the leader, as the culture driver of this team. Talking to some of the other Oregon players, it's easy to see the reverence and the love they have for Paige. Who's been a 4-year Duck, mentored by Allie Bunker, who's a big player last year, and has turned herself into an all-conference first-team player and a Gold Glove winner nationally at shortstop a year ago. And an 0-2 hole here. Sinicki taps one to Terry. A couple of groundouts to her in a scoreless first. Couple of All-American matchups coming up when we return to OKC. Beautiful night here in Oklahoma City for the 9-seeded UCLA Bruins to make their 33rd appearance on the World Series stage, and their starting lineup brought to you by Capital One. Big bats in this lineup. You know about Woolery and Grant, but Savannah Pola is on the verge of setting a couple of UCLA records, doubles and runs. She was named a third-team All-American just yesterday. For UCLA team scoring 7.3 runs a game. That's 13th best in the country. And they get to face an All-American, Lindsey Grine, who threw 11 1/3 scoreless innings against the Bruins this year.
And transferred over from Virginia Tech. This was a big pickup for Oregon because of what she brings in the circle. She's going to throw a screwball and a rise ball. She'll work her rise ball on multiple different levels, and then she'll also bring in a changeup. Not a lot, but just enough, about 7% of the time. Her rise ball and her drop ball are the pitches that she will throw the most, alongside that changeup just a little bit every now and then, but rise ball almost 70% of the time, and against her rise ball opponents hitting just 176 off of that pitch.
Fired a gem to send Oregon to the World Series, and now she'll face Jessica Clements. 70-mile-per-hour ball one to Clements, transfer from Cal Poly, who's had a monstrous NCAA tournament. 11 for 22 with 3 doubles, 2 homers, and an OPS of 1451. Rips through strike one from Grine. Clements had never played in the postseason before this year. 3 years at Cal Poly, got her degree. She's here at UCLA, and she's been their leadoff hitter all but 3 games. Couple of swinging strikes for Lindsey Grine, who had such a good week pitching against UCLA. She was named the NFCA's National Pitcher of the Week. Here's her 1-2. Way upstairs and fouled away by Clements. And there go the lights. A rise ball so ferocious, it turned out the lights here in Oklahoma.
Right at 10 p.m. It's not used to playing games this late. That's why.
And some folks in the crowd get out their flashlights and let there be light.
You know, sometimes it takes those lights a while to fire back up too. We're lucky that it was just a flip of the switch to get them back on. Believe it or not, this is not my first game that's happened. Not here, but just in any game that I've been calling. I called another game at Clearwater at our ESPN Invitational Tournament. That same thing happened.
Just happy it wasn't in the middle of a fly ball or in the middle of a play.
Right.
A foul ball that apparently ran right into a switch somewhere. The energy and OGE energy field really coming into play. Back at it. Uh-oh. Foul ball left side. Let's see. Up, missed the switch. Lights stay on. Listen, we didn't have to take Big Ten After Dark that literally.
I know, right?
There are the numbers against UCLA for Grine. Pitched in all 3 games, started a pair. Clements taps an off-speed pitch out of play to stay alive. The matchup today, obviously the rise ball is the key for Grine. What does UCLA need to do better compared to the way Grine dominated them in April? Yeah,
I went back and looked at film, actually, her pitching against them, and it seemed like deep into counts, they struggled with outside pitches, both lefties and righties. Her strikeouts against them came on the outer half.
That ball's punched to center, and Kedri Luchar for the first out.
So being able to handle that outside pitch, again, both the lefties and righties saw the same thing. A lot of tentativeness on that side of the plate.
Savipola, a well-deserved All-American year. Oh, there go the lights again. Well, this is an interesting subplot. At least they came back on more quickly that time. Kelly Inouye Perez is out of the dugout wondering, are we just going to keep doing this?
Well, as you said, now it puts it in the back of your mind that it might happen in the middle of the play. So as a hitter, you're seeing a ball come at you, and just a little bit of doubt that it starts to plant a seed in that might happen when the ball is coming right at you.
Boy, somebody's going to need to call the folks from the Sandlot. Maybe we can get some fireworks in, crank up some Ray Charles in case this happens again. So now the head coaches are going to get together. Kelly Inouye Perez and Missy Lombardi will talk to Jim Bertuzzi. He'll draw the umpires together. It's already a day that's been delayed by rain and lightning in between our second and third games. And now we have a little bit of unlightning, which has put us into a bit of a pickle here as to how to go forward. The Ducks are going to charge up their fans during the delay. And the umpires have to be considering whether to pause the game until they can figure out what's going on with the lights. They've already gone out twice for just a few seconds. Lindsey Grind's going to take this time to throw some warm-up pitches. Missy Lombardi just asked if she could do so. You ever played in a game like this?
No, only called games like this somehow. There had to have been just an alarm set or the timing set that at 10 p.m. they just turn off automatically.
And then was there a 10:02 alarm after that, you think?
Yeah, maybe it's like hitting snooze.
Right. It's a very short snooze. If anybody has a 2-minute snooze button on their phone, that's some psychotic behavior. So now Jim Bertuzzi and the crew will get together and talk to the head coaches. Oregon and UCLA, final game of the day. Caitlin Terry had a 1-2-3 first inning or so, we thought. Strikeout wild pitch extended it, and then she got Paige Sinicki, and now we've had the lights go out twice in the middle of play. All right, Christy Cornwell, our rules analyst, is with us. Unusual situation, Christy. What do you make of this?
Usual. We're not sure what the cause is just yet, but the question on the field was what to do if the lights go out and the ball is in play. And the official answer is we're going to err on the side of player safety, have a no pitch, and restart when the lights come on.
Okay, so that's some good guidance to have, Christy. Thank you for that. And we are going to play ball again here. Savannah Pola for real this time. Nobody trip over wires. Nobody go near a switch. Let's play ball. 4-minute delay here at OGE Energy Field at Devon Park.
We made it past 2 minutes.
That's true. We're making progress. So here's a 1-0 to Pola. Fouled away. Savannah Pola, the third most hits, the fourth most runs scored for anybody in the country this year, and most hits UCLA in a single season in 22 years. You have to go back to 2003, Natasha Watley. Savvy's also got 20 doubles, one shy of Lindsey Klein's UCLA record set in 1999. So it could be a historic week for her. That's 5 foul balls to the left side by left-handed hitters. Does that tell you anything about the approach?
Yeah, continuing to work them on the outside corner. And Grind throws with good speed, too. 68, 69 miles an hour up in the zone. So maybe a little bit late, but she likes to rely a lot on her arm side against these lefties.
Goes away again. That's beaten into the ground, and no chance for Emma Cox. Hit number 97 for Savannah Pola.
I've seen this a couple of times today, like a swinging bunt off the end of the bat and just no chance to make a play. It was just up the line enough to be out of the reach of Emma Cox, and then Lindsey Grine made an aggressive play on it as well, going hard for it, but really nothing that you can do as Pola goes to her slap, and it's like a slap bunt right out there in no man's land to get down to first base.
So a base runner on for the Bruin Bombers. Jordan Woolery takes ball one. As ferocious a 1-2 combination as you will find. Back-to-back first-team All-Americans. And it's Woolery tied with Taylor Shoemaker for the most RBIs in the nation. Woolery blasts off on strike one. Big reason why UCLA's here. Two big reasons right there. Jordan Woolery, Megan Grant, who have carried the Bruins all season and certainly carried them with some big postseason plate appearances. None bigger than Jordan Woolery's walk-off home run in Game 2 in South Carolina, Columbia, with the Bruins down to their final outs. They had never been swept in a super regional, and they still haven't because of this swing off Sam Gress.
And this was a moment heard round the softball world, down to their last out. First pitch that she saw against a new pitcher in Sam Gress, and she smoked it out of here. She just looked so calm and confident in that moment. And it was that moment that ended up sending them to Game 3 and ultimately winning.
She had been 0 for 6 with 4 strikeouts in the super regional before that swing. She's ready for 1-2.
Outside.
It's taken outside. And the tournament as a whole been a monstrous couple of weeks for Woolery, despite that little funk in the middle. 8 for 20 with a double, 3 homers, 3 walks, 11 RBIs. Trying to add to it here. Ripped out of play. We'll do it again on 2-2.
And talk about power all over the field. Jordan Woolery has that too. We've mentioned that with Riley McCoy, the freshman for Oregon, in the 3-hole. Jordan Woolery that same way. Tons of power, over 20 home runs, can drive the ball with power to every single part of the field.
Looks like we had a timing violation on Lindsey Grine, so just saw it's a 3-2 count. And Woolery digs a very low pitch out to shallow center. So that previous foul ball negated because of a timing violation, which was an automatic ball 3, but Grine gets the out all the same. Got the 22nd pitch timer here. Grine was too late, but she gets the out nonetheless and retires Woolery. Missy Lombardi wants to know what happened there. The clock behind home is not on. So that's probably what Missy Lombardi's asking about. That's in right center field. The clock is working. So maybe we didn't get all the lights back on.
I mean, that's so tough as a pitcher if you're used to seeing the clock right in front of you. And it is a routine. You understand your pacing and the timing, but especially on a stage like this, if you just need that extra bit of breath. Playing on this field at the World Series, maybe the timing changes a little bit. You don't have that clock to look at anymore.
Just your run-of-the-mill night in Oklahoma City. Megan Grant, a 25-homer hitter.
Outside.
And he is sitting pretty on 3-0. Green light.
I'd take here.
And she does for a 4-pitch walk. So 2 Bruins on and 2 out here in the first, as Grant draws her 45th walk of the year at team high.
Both pitchers throw a lot of pitches in the first inning. Terry threw about this amount as well, 23, 25 pitches. Grind throwing a lot of pitches. UCLA really making her work early in this game.
The Texan freshman Riley Slimp try to bring in the first run.
Strike.
Right down the middle for strike 1. The first pitch strike in 5 batters for Grind. Slimp part of the all-freshman team in the Big Ten. 25 walks, only 9 punch-outs for 481 on base percentage. She grounds the ball over to third, and Katie Flannery takes the force there. The lights are on. We move on to the second with the Ducks and the Bruins. Tennessee, which was oh so close to knocking off OU in that dramatic opener. Texas Tech and Ole Miss in their first World Series, and then the Oregon Ducks trying to become the lowest seed ever to win the World Series. Only 1 double-digit seed has done it. 10-seeded OU back in 2017. But this is the bottom half of the bracket. Doesn't feature any top 8 seeds. As Caitlin Terry misses high and into Des Patman. It's the first time ever since the Super Regionals and the seeding began in 2005 that there's been a half of the bracket without a top 8 seed.
Strike.
And Oregon is only the third 16 seed to make it. Now they caught a break when Liberty upset Texas A&M in the regional, the first #1 overall seed to lose in regionals. So the Ducks got to host as a 16 and swept Liberty.
Well, that first game against Liberty was so intense, but Des Patman talked about the Bruin magic in their Super Regional, but Des Patman had some magic as well against Liberty, and even the weekend before against in regionals. Liberty played them tight in game 1, and then Oregon handedly took game 2 against Liberty, but that first game was a special one.
Patman gets twisted up by the change from Terry, who has punched out every other hitter to start.
Yeah, and I like the down movement that this changeup has. Look at where this pitch starts and then where it finishes, where Ramirez catches that right above the ground. That is a well-located pitch with great down movement. Caitlin Terry showing a lot of down early in this game with her hard drop and that changeup with down movement.
You think Oregon's surprised at all by that?
Maybe. Pitch that she only throws about 7% of the time, and blending it with her drop, tunneling those 2 pitches well, where you're used to seeing that rise ball up so much against her.
This tied to the catcher Emma Cox, and they missed low. 6-foot freshman, following 5 years of great duck catching. Tara McGowan, Emma Koff, all conference catchers in their careers. And Cox has had a wonderful first season,
Strike.
including a 2-run homer in the regional final, the comeback win against Stanford, and then a 3-run shot in the Super Regional final. Nice to see a beautifully illuminated shot. That's popped up into the lights and into the glove of Megan Grant.
I really like the way that Caitlin Terry is spreading the zone vertically with her rise, drop, and changeup. Going up with the rise to be able to get Emma Cox on that one. One thing about Caitlin Terry, when she goes out there, she works quick, and she just is fiery when she pitches.
Working on 44 postseason innings now. Came in with a career 1.82 ERA in the postseason. She started all 3 games at the World Series for UCLA last year. 10 1/3, 4 earned. Walked 4, struck out 10. Elton John glasses looking on from the dugout. Strike 2 on Stephanie Maake.
Exactly what she wants these Oregon hitters to do, is go up with her to chase that rise ball. But man, she's spinning both really well early in this game, up and down.
Beaten into the ground, still 0-2.
And she throws 72. Look, Caitlin Terry is just 5'6". And it actually makes that rise ball even more effective because she can start it from a lower position with where she releases it, because she starts it closer to the ground, because she is closer to the ground at just being 5'6".
Outside.
Oh, thought she had strike 3. Working with lefty Ramirez. Maake, the all Big Ten freshman first baseman, hangs in there. Great power hitter in the 7 spot. Chases strike 3. Spin him if you got him, KT. That's 4 Ks in 2 innings.
Caitlin Terry is always here to win. She is up to any challenge. Going up in the zone with her rise ball earlier, it was the changeup. 4th strikeout for Terry.
Off as well, guys.
That is, first of all, so insane that she still had that card and that it survived the years. And incredible foresight and, frankly, vocabulary for a kindergartner. How many kindergartners know what a scholarship is?
I didn't. I had to ask. I didn't even. How about legacy?
No kidding. Really special, amazing find. So cool that Paige found that and shared that with us. And talking to Lindsey Grine yesterday, we were talking to Lindsey and Paige together. The impact Paige had on Lindsey's transfer, maybe the biggest impact of anybody with Oregon. Lindsey told us that Paige kept calling her and she'd say, "When are you coming out to Eugene?" And she hosted her on her visit. And Lindsey said there's no better introduction to Oregon than talking to Paige Sinicki, who started every game of her career and now 191 straight at shortstop.
She said she just wanted to be the best Duck that she could be. And why she went so hard to try to get Lindsey Grine is because she just felt like there was one cylinder missing in the past other 3 years that kept them from hosting a regional, that kept them from making it to the Women's College World Series. And that missing piece, she felt like, was going to be Lindsey Grine. And a big help to help them achieve their goals and to help them get to OKC.
Paige Sinicki grew up a huge Yankee fan, said her dad would watch a Yankee game in his sports cave every night, and she'd watch Derek Jeter's footwork and his glove work and see how he moved on different plays. And they'd go to the field and her dad would hit her ground balls and she would try to emulate Derek Jeter. Oh, but she got it there in time. Taylor, you have more on Paige?
Well, she was a Rawlings Gold Glove Award winner, and she told us about when she got the award. It's an actual glove that's dipped in gold, and she said, I wanted to use it, I wanted to play with it, and then went on to tell us that her equipment manager always has to clean her glove because it's always the driest, and her uniform is always the dirtiest. It speaks to how hard she works out there, guys.
And she is big at giving credit to her mentors. Gave a lot of credit to Allie Bunker, who she got to play right next to when she played at second base, along with being coached by legendary Oregon shortstop Nikki Udria. And now Sydney Romero, who is in the dugout, works with the Oregon Ducks in a lot of different ways. One of the best hitters in our game, Sydney Romero is, and also known for her defense as well. Sid can do a lot, currently still playing as well. So she has that going for her in terms of being right there in the mix like all these other athletes as a professional for AUSL.
couple of national champions on that Oregon staff. Sid and, of course, Missy Lombardi, which were part of 4 title teams at Oklahoma, so they know this ground well. And most of these Ducks are experiencing Oklahoma City for the first time. A couple of freshmen in a row for UCLA. Here's Kanaya Bragg. Takes strike 2. Outside corner adjacent. Fifth 2-strike count so far for Grind, and she'll get a fly ball in it. Oh, a little collision there. Luchar made the catch with Patman right on her heels.
It's just one of those things of playing here on this field for the first time, and just a little extra buzz, extra crowd noise. That, and a ball like this, it's an in-betweener in the right center field gap. Maybe you can't hear each other calling it, maybe you're both calling it. Just communication issues that oftentimes happen for a team that is playing their first games here.
Center fielder led the way ultimately, and there are 2 down for Grind. Strike 1 to Sofia Mujica. Bruin freshman from down the road a bit from UCLA and San Diego. Rolls a ground ball out of play.
Another 2-strike count. Grind's done a good job of finding a way to get to that 2-strike count, but UCLA has spoiled a lot of pitches, a lot of foul balls.
No strikeouts yet against one of the best strikeout artists in the country. 14th most strikeouts in Division I. 9th in the country in strikeouts per 7. Struck out 222 in 172 innings into tonight. Grind also making her 51st appearance today, which passed Auburn's S.J. Guerin for the most games pitched in the country.
Outside.
Two. First game in the Super Regional, the Grind didn't strike out a batter in relief. Game 2 punched out 10 against Liberty. And there's her first. And she fires up her defense, hopping and skipping off the field.
This is the type of energy that Lindsey Grind can bring to the circle and to a team. It's why Paige Stanicki and the Oregon Ducks wanted her in this program. Low rise on the outside corner, her first strikeout of the night.
Texas on ABC on Saturday, and then Texas Tech gets the winner of this game over on ESPN. Crazy stuff. That top half of the bracket, just the way upsets worked out here in the bottom, features 4 top 7 teams, 4 legitimate national title contenders. One's going to go home tomorrow, either Florida or Tennessee.
Strike.
And then you had Oklahoma, who you just can't beat.
Yeah, I was going to say, is anybody else thinking, like, how does Oklahoma always do that? They are never out of a game. That continues to happen. Even here on this field a lot. So tough to put away.
1 and 2 for Kaylin Jones. It's not just that Oklahoma wins, it's the way they win. It's the way that when you get a taste of victory, they just reach into your chest and rip out your heart. Every time. A little squibber to first up the line. Jones is safe with a leadoff infield single, and a little more fire for the folks in gold and green.
And that's the speed that this Oregon team has all throughout, even at the bottom, not just at the top with the Luchar sisters. They're playing a shift, almost expecting something to the left side with Megan Grant and Pola at second base. Grant did everything she could. Man, that would be challengeable right there. That was close at first base.
UCLA's not using a challenge. Oregon lays down a bunt with Flannery. Grant lobs to Pola for the sacrifice, 3-4. And Jones advances to second. Team leading 6th sack bunt of the year for Katie Flannery. And there's a duck dance party after the sack bunt in the dugout. Kylu Shard over to first. Grant puts the tag on her quickly. Jones is over to third.
And these lefties with speed. Megan Grant is playing so far in up the line at first base. Attack that ball, had to be quick to be able to get the speed and the tag for Luchar.
The last 3 pitches have been hit to first. Now Kedri Luchar. The 4th pitch in a row is hit through first. The All-American Kedri Luchar delivers the first run for the Ducks.
And Luchar is able to sit back on a changeup and barrel this pitch up. It's a change inside. She keeps her feet still, swings away, doesn't get all of it, but enough of it to drive it past Grant, who we're just talking about with these speed players in the bottom and the top of the order for Oregon. She's playing up the line. She barrels it past her to score the first run of this game.
Her team leading 62nd RBI and her 11th here in the NCAA tournament. The way Lindsey Grine ended that inning with a strikeout, it just seemed like she turned on the energy for Oregon. Now Riley McCoy, who takes strike 1. Sometimes these first-time teams can understandably be a little tight, a little tentative under these lights, or under what are supposed to be these lights. And we've got another timing violation. I think this one's on McCoy for strike 2. It's the 2nd timing violation that's been called against Oregon. One against the pitcher Grine, one against the batter McCoy.
I think Coach Lombardi is talking about how Sam Marder wanted to call timeout to her and talk to her, so that's why she wasn't getting in the box. Remember, you have to be in the box at the 10-second mark, but Coach Lombardi just does not agree with what just transpired there with Sam Marder wanting to take a timeout to talk to McCoy in this AB.
And it's the plate umpire that has to grant the timeout, Jim Bertuzzi, so obviously he did not grant it before he saw the clock go down to 10. So an automatic strike 2, and now it's 2-2. On the ground at third base, Woolery to Grant. Oregon emotion, delivering the Ducks' first run in this nightcap here in Oklahoma City. The 16 seed, not just happy to be here. We thought Oregon brought the energy, but it's getting weird in the UCLA dugout. Taylor, what is going on down there?
It's party time. It's third inning party. It's the dugout party that happens every third inning in every game, no matter what is happening. This group gets together, celebrates the fact that they are a team. They're in this together. I mean, we didn't even show the disco ball. We got a disco ball. We got decorations. We got Gatorade shots. It's party time, Kevin.
There's the disco ball, Taylor.
Watch out.
Taylor, get in there.
I know.
Dance.
I know. I was asking for some Gatorade shots and a hat earlier, but, you know, I haven't gotten one yet. Maybe next time.
I'm guessing they have enough. They've got about 100 of these things. I mean, I dare you folks at home to tell me this isn't the greatest sport.
Well,
where else does this happen?
It's 10:45, so the party's just really getting started in some parts. You know, this is when it gets going.
And a line drive to center, caught awkwardly by Luchar. Caitlin Terry, the Bruins pitcher, with a hard line out. The good news is that she can go back to the dugout and join the party.
That ball going out to Kedri Luchar. Had to keep her eye on it the whole way to make sure that she caught it.
Well, you know why she had to keep her eye on it.
You don't know if the lights are going to go out.
Well, that's one reason. I was going to say she was distracted by the disco ball. Left side Clemens. With 2 pitches and 2 outs, this may be a very short party. Oregon's alerting the authorities. Kelly did not get invited to the party, I don't think. Somebody's got to be doing work while the kids are going crazy. 2 down quickly for Lindsey Grine.
Outside.
It's a UCLA group that has been loose throughout a tough season. And they were 1 out away from elimination last week. And when you're at UCLA and when your head coach is Kelly Inouye Perez, you hear about Bruin magic all the time. She said, I coach through storytelling. Find these kids always something for a situation that you can rely on. I don't know if this is part of the storytelling. I'm not sure how many of the Bruin teams have had disco balls and sports drink shots in the dugout. This is a new story to tell. We got the double hat for Addison Fisher. She's got the blue and gold horns.
All the fun and unique parts of our sport, especially in the dugout. Some of the best memories that you have with your teammates are the cheers and moments inside that dugout. Watching your teammate hit, talking about the game, the moment, what you're seeing, how to get in it.
Polo rips one to deep center field. Luchar will make the catch. The party is canceled. Kedri Luchar, a little more smoothly this time, takes away a potential long ball.
It's 220 to center field, and that's as far as Luchar could go. Up against the wall, it went 219. It's just a 1-run game with Oregon's lead, and it stays a 1-run game. Pola denied, and Grine loves the D.
All year long, and just for her to make that play and then just fire us up and bring the momentum back to the dugout.
Thank you, Coach. Kevin?
Taylor, what a marvelous job Missy Lombardi's done at Oregon. There's Kedri Luchar, who caught the 219-foot fly ball to the wall at 220. They're loaded with talent right now, Oregon, and it's taken time to build this program back to a place where they could be a championship contender. Missy Lombardi's first year took over for Mike White, who went to Texas. Ton of players transferred out of Oregon. Ground ball down is short. That's fair from Sinicki's, thrown out by Woolery. Forget about Oklahoma City. Oregon was just trying to win games that first year. They were literally holding tryouts in Missy Lombardi's first season just to field enough players. They go 5-19 in the Pac-12, and they've taken steps forward as a program every year, or as Missy says, every version of Oregon softball since then, this being version 7 in her time with the Ducks.
There was one point where they just had 11 healthy scholarship players and 6 walk-ons, and you mentioned the tryouts. I mean, I remember Jordan Dale in the circle, the lefty pitcher for them, just pitched her heart out that year. But that team already established a value with this Oregon program, that they were going to show a lot of fight, show a lot of resilience, despite the tough hand that they had been drawn that year. And the departure of a lot of players when Mike White left, it was just an extremely difficult year for Missy Lombardi when she took over.
Ground ball back to the circle. And 2 quick outs for Caitlin Terry. A future Duck climbing the steps here in Oklahoma City, perhaps. Well, there's the t-shirt, version 7. Fouled away Grant, run out of room. There's some future Ducks here. There are a bunch of former Ducks here, and Missy Lombardi feels like this team's so connected with their alumni. Trying to get the Oregon O right here in the stands. There we go.
That's long.
One for Emma Cox. Terry looking for a 1-2-3 inning after giving up a run in the 3rd.
Outside.
Ground ball to short. Nice low pick. The freshman Kanaya Bragg concludes an 8-pitch inning for Terry. Big bats coming up for the Bruins.
Great play by the freshman, who did not start there but filled in there because of an injury. She's having fun out there with her teammates. Look at that smile. Where she didn't have her best stuff, but she's having her best stuff here at the World Series, and to get her team here through that super regional, showing a lot of grit and determination, maybe pitching her best here in OKC.
That ball's ripped to left field. Jordan Woolery begins the heart of the order in the 4th with a leadoff single against Lindsey Grind.
She's always looking to hit early in the count, isn't she? Gets this off-speed pitch that's over the heart of the plate, a mistake, and way too firm. 61 miles an hour for her changeup. The first pitch that she sees crushes that mistake toward the left side. Maybe get a little rally going for UCLA.
Woolery reaching base for the 12th straight game, and the first team All-American will check out for pinch runner Lauren Hatch. First hit since Pola in the 1st inning. And here's Megan Grant. So here's this fearsome back-to-back combination, the Bruin Bombers. They've been hitting 3rd and 4th respectively every game but 3 this year. 3 when Grant had a minor hamstring injury. And Grant torpedoes this one to the screen, 0-2. Party time has been extended to the 4th inning.
That's because it was way too fast in the other inning with all the early contact and quick outs.
7-pitch inning, not enough of a party. Grant goes up to get a rise ball from Grine, and she's retired by Flannery in foul ground. One of the most dangerous hitters in the country, Lindsey Grine, bests her after walking Grant in the 1st. So you get through Jordan Woolery and Megan Grant with just a single and a foul out. That's a win. And now Grime will face the freshman Riley Slimp. First pitch swinging again. UCLA is awfully aggressive right now. Lindsey Grine started the game with 4 straight first pitch balls, and she's now thrown 9 out of 10 first pitch strikes since.
I'd continue to work away to both righties and lefties. Going back again, we talked about earlier, Kevin, but looking at how Grind worked the left-handed hitters in the UCLA lineup when they faced each other in conference play. They're really passive on the outer half. Like a pitch like that, and swung at that one, but just don't seem as confident with that outside pitch hitting against her. Whenever they faced her earlier this year, it continued to go back to it.
Goes outside again, fouled away by Slim. Lindsey Grind's now pitched in all 8 games in the tournament for Oregon. 3rd-team All-American, unanimous first-team All-Big Ten, was a top 10 USA Softball Player of the Year finalist. One of the most improved players in the country, maybe. She was good at Virginia Tech, but she wasn't this. A .368 ERA in 52 games there. Today's her 51st now. An ERA coming in of 2.08. Goes inside. That ball's fair. And Ake knocks it down and takes it to the base. The Women's College World Series Finals begin on Wednesday. And for more information, you can go to NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. A reminder that 90% of champions start 1-0. 85% start 2-0. Ryan just shook off there and takes time.
Big shake off. You mentioned her time at Virginia Tech, and opponents in her 2 years there hit .260 off of her. Batting average against her here at Oregon coming into this game, 183. Big time drop. And the slugging percentage at Virginia Tech was .426. Here at Oregon, .303. Huge improvement by Lindsey Grind, who just brings that fiery, competitive, almost alter ego when she's in the circle competing for the Ducks.
Yeah, because the word on her is she's a goofball off the field. And somebody who just turns it on in the circle. Last season to this season, ACC to Big Ten. What a monster jump it's been. Didn't start pitching, she told us, till she was about 11. Didn't learn a rise ball till she was about 16. She looks like the finished product here. But scary thing is, for Big Ten opponents, she's got another year of development under Missy Lombardi, under this great staff.
And asked her about working with Missy and what stands out and the impact that she's had on her. And she talked about the way that she calls pitches and reads hitter swings. And she loves to pick her brain about that part of the game the most. Maintaining an element of surprise with pitch calling, and they've also worked on a drop ball this year. She only had a changeup when she came here, and told her immediately to Coach Lombardi, I want to drop. And she, in her words, in Lindsey Grind's words, built that pitch from scratch. And she said, I'm proud to say I have one now. And she's invested a lot of time and energy into that pitch to be able to create some down movement.
A confidence in the way she even went about that meeting. The way she high-fives her players after, the eye contact she gets, the way you could see her talking, not just listening throughout the meeting with Missy Lombardi. Gonna get rid of the runner at second, the pinch runner Hatch.
Ball.
And Alexis Ramirez takes ball 2. Back from injury, Ramirez. Just her 35th game of the year. 7th behind the plate. Here's a 2-2. Poked down the right field line. That will get out of play. Patman gave it a headfirst dive just for fun. Trying to get the jersey dirty. with that glittering green headband, trying to close 4 shutout innings in the game. Ramirez blasts it to left field. Lefty Ramirez with a long home run. Party on, Bruins. They're out of the dugout in a mob as Ramirez slams UCLA into the lead.
It's a big deal with this swing right here from the catcher, known a lot for her defense, and she has the pop too. Expecting the rise ball, getting her barrel there. She is on time, she is on plane, and it gets out of here a no-doubter off the bat of Ramirez to take back the lead. 2-out scoring for the Bruins, and that face is priceless here in OKC.
And everybody came rushing out of the UCLA dugout, some with their party hats still on the 5th of the year for Alexis Lefty Ramirez. Her first home run since May the 3rd against Northwestern. And the UCLA Bruins have the first home run of the night session and a 2-1 lead. A huge, huge tournament for Ramirez, who's now driven in 9 in the NCAAs, only behind Woolery among Bruin batters.
The hitters who have been hot in this game are staying hot. Edry Luchar, who leads their team in RBIs in the NCAA tournament, and then Woolery starting out this inning with the leadoff single.
And here's our favorite tradition in Oklahoma City. The home run balls are retrieved and delivered to family members, and the Ramirez family can celebrate. I believe that chainer on the neck said, "I'm her." Lefty Ramirez is in fact her. A 2-out, 2-run, 2-strike home run. Is it too early for Bruin magic? I guess not. UCLA has the advantage after 4 in the nightcap. Looked like the party was still going on behind Kelly Inouye Perez. Hand out party hats, take some shots of Gatorade or Powerade or something, and then hit a Bruin bash.
That was a bash, a bomb, all the words that maybe would also go along with a party, but the celebration there is one for the ages. Jordan Woolery, that face, that hug, that moment, that is what the World Series is all about.
That was Lefty Ramirez, who did not get to play at the World Series last year because of a season-ending knee injury she suffered in the first week. Ball tore her ACL and both menisci in her left leg when she was in right field, slipped in the mud running for a ball. It was a very long recovery, and she spent a lot of time at her head coach's side, learning about calling pitches. You're behind the plate now, learning about some of the finer aspects of the game. So it's special to see all these kids live out their dream. I think it's more special for a lot of us who have seen people go through injury or know what it's like to see Lefty Ramirez get to be on this stage, get to deliver that moment. And UCLA's got the lead as we hit the final 3 innings. And you know what it's like, Amanda. You know what it's like to be here. You know what it's like to not be able to be here because of injury. For Lefty Ramirez, it must be an extraordinary feeling, the journey she's had to come through.
Well, I think that we've seen so many instances of that in the postseason.
Okay, grounds out to second.
And through this year, you know, all throughout, that there's somebody, a great player, and even Jordy Ball comes to mind. Tore ACL last year, comes back stronger than ever. Danica Coffey at LSU. I mean, injuries are going to happen, and I feel like these players, when we can share their stories even more about how they came back, how they learned while they were out, how they didn't let that injury keep them down, is only going to be an inspiration to younger players who are also going to come upon injury at some point.
That's a strike on the offer by Kaylin Jones.
I mean, such a unique shift, specifically on the right side, with Savvy Pola, the second baseman, pulled so close to first base. Megan Grant playing up the line, and Savvy Pola playing even closer to first base, and then the pinch infield. You see where, ooh, that did not go how I wanted it to, but you see where she's starting right behind Megan Grant.
And then a chopper to short, flag down, but no chance for Bragg. And then Pola has to rush to second, make sure somebody's covering the base. They couldn't shift against Kaylin Jones to stop her second infield hit.
Beating the shift on the right side. You see where Pola is playing right behind Grant, and perfectly placed by Jones on the left side. And Alyssa Palomino Cordoza over there, the first base coach, told her, you need to listen to me, because second base was open. They could have taken an extra base. You heard Alyssa tell her that. This is a team that loves to take extra bases. They take a lot of pride in their base running. And with the speed that they have all throughout, that could have been an extra 60 feet potentially for Kaylin Jones.
They haven't attempted a steal yet. Jones, a very good base stealer. This ball fly to right by Flannery into foul ground and collected by Liesl Osteen, who does not hit in the batting order with Caitlin Terry as a two-way player, but plays a good right field. So 2 down for Terry. And now she'll face Kai Luchar for a third time. The elder Luchar, Kai, has struck out and grounded out. She shows bunt. The throw to second from Ramirez is on the money, and Jones is cut down. What an inning for lefty Ramirez.
Bragg anticipating the steal. Look at where she's positioned. A couple of steps from the bag. Ramirez gives her the perfect throw, the tag to cut down the blazing speed of Jones.
2-run blast in the fourth has UCLA leading Oregon 2-1 as the Bruins finally get to Lindsey Grine, who'd thrown 14 1/3 scoreless against the Bruins this year. Before that fourth inning, Sophia Mujica with a sky-scraping fly out to center as we begin the fifth. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough up here in the booth. Taylor McGregor on the field, our outstanding ESPN crew. Day one here in Oklahoma City. We're going to have 2 elimination games tomorrow. Florida, Tennessee might be the best on-paper elimination game we've ever seen. And then Ole Miss against the loser of this game. The winner gets Niger Kennedy and Texas Tech on Saturday night at 6 Central, 4 Pacific. Strike one to Caitlin Terry.
And Florida and Tennessee did not play in the regular season, so it'll be that Florida offense's first time going up against Carlin Pickens.
They're still raging in the UCLA dugout. We've confirmed tonight UCLA is indeed a party school. Well, Terry's been just brilliant in the circle tonight. 3 hits allowed, 1 run in 5 innings. Struck out 4. And she's had a couple of hard swings at the plate with nothing to show for it. I see a different gleam in your eyes tonight with 3 two-way pitchers in our 2 games. Binford and Kennedy in the first.
Love to see it. It just is so fun to be able to change the game in a different way. And a lot of pitchers, too, feel like going up to the plate, not as much pressure as what it feels like in the circle.
good?
I mean, Caitlin Terry was a big part of that super regional comeback too. Jordan Woolery, Pola, Terry had a hit in that inning. It's a complete team rally to be able to win game 2 of the super regional against South Carolina and mount that comeback against them to lead, to put in the bat in Woolery's hands, and that one swing changing the game.
2-2 toward the middle. And Terry's just barely thrown out by Kaylin Jones. Well, we are creeping closer and closer to the bottom of the hour here. 11:17 local. It's late in the game. It's late at night. Nighttime is the right time for UCLA, which has scored more runs in the 4th inning or later than any team in the country. And they have a ton of run rule wins as well, so plenty of games they don't play a 6th inning or a 7th inning. Bunted foul.
Coach Inoue Perez told us we take pride in being able to take over the second part of a game. It's something that we do. It's something that we believe in. It's a big part of how our program has always been successful, that what you can do in those later innings is how you take over a game, win national championships, and ultimately have success.
Just ask South Carolina, who had a 4-1 lead going into the 7th. UCLA had been outscored 13-3 in that series, and then in the 7th inning, where they needed 3 runs to keep their season alive, they got 4 and won the next day. And we asked Kelly what you were thinking at that time. Down by 3, team that had no offensive success. She said, I looked at the lineup card, I looked at my top 4 hitters, and I circled them. Because I circled that none of them really had production, and the chances of them coming through were going to be pretty good. And come through they did. And she was just ready to play the odds. Jordan Woolery 0 for 6 in the series. Savvy Pola had a quiet series. She felt like there was a really high chance they were going to deliver, because they do so often. And that's what this team does. They believe they're going to deliver in the late game moments.
Yeah, that's over the chalk. So.
3-2 for Jessica Clements. Was lined out to center and flied out to left. Left center field, that's down for a hit for Clements. She'll turn first sharply, on her way to second. And a 2-out double as the ball skips away, and Grind backs it up. Jessica Clements, who had been 1 for 8 against Grind this season, drops in a double.
Just another good piece of hitting. Full count, up in the zone, shortens up. Beautiful swing by Clements to be able to turn that into extra bases. Couple of well-hit balls second time through the order against Grind. Woolery had one, and then of course the Ramirez home run, and then now Clemens with the double. Now you have speed at second base. 2 outs is when Ramirez hit that home run. 2 strikes, 2 outs.
And now you've got 3 All-Americans in a row to circle on the lineup card. Sunday Night Baseball this week. We've been talking a lot about two-way stars tonight. Shohei Ohtani is getting closer and closer to his return to the mound. His Dodgers host Aaron Judge and the Yankees in a World Series rematch. Dodgers took it in 5 last year, and they'll conclude their regular season series at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 4 Pacific on ESPN. Baseball tonight, Sunday Night Countdown an hour earlier on ESPN. So, Savvy Pola.
Strike.
Jordan Woolery had the memorable hit in the 7th inning, game 2, South Carolina, but Pola set her up with a single with 2 outs. Not for her. There is no Jordan Woolery home run. Chases one for strike 2. How about that? Not only the most runs from the 4th inning on, the most 2-out runs in the country, UCLA. In fact, they have the best slugging percentage with runners in scoring position in the country, 719. Not going to slug anything here. Pola strikes out swinging. On to the 6th in a Rick Dees kind of game. Disco defeating the Ducks 2-1. But Lindsey Grind trying to keep her team in it. On to the 6th in OKC.
A changeup that's up in the zone or a drop ball that's up in the zone, but a lot of chases in that against that rise ball late in the game. Have to let that pitch go and see it down.
3rd time through the order, Kylu Shar, who was batting when Kalen Jones was caught stealing to end the 5th. Oregon has scored 15 runs in the NCAA tournament, first 7 games in the 6th and the 7th inning. They're hitting .381 as a team in those 6th and 7th innings. 9 walks, 4 extra base hits, so they've been very productive late. As noted earlier, they've got a couple of walk-off wins already in this tournament. Bouchard slaps one to the net. It's 1-2.
And they continue to play such interesting shifts against the Oregon speed. And outfield, especially Jessica Clements, and center field is playing so deep. The infield is pinched in. Pola is pulled over so close to Grant, almost directly behind her.
Strike 3 called. Shift where you want to. Caitlin Terry takes care of it herself.
We had talked about the vertical movement with her rise, drop, and then her changeup, and then here comes the curveball, her second most used pitch. Not a pitch that she's used a ton tonight. She hasn't had to, but just paints the outside corner, lefty on lefty matchup with the curveball and gets her looking.
Kylu Shar had struck out 14 times in 61 starts this year. She goes down twice today. And here's her sister, who's got the only Duck RBI. Only the 4th time this season Kylu Shar has struck out twice in a game. And here's Caitlin Terry, who did not pitch well against the Ducks in the regular season. 3 earned runs in just 2 innings in that series. Hit a batter, walked a batter, through a couple of wild pitches.
Good job.
Was just off her game. She has been on top of her game from the first batter today.
And she's the type of pitcher that has a quick rebound. Oftentimes last year, she pitched as the only healthy option throughout the 2024 year, with her and Taylor Tinsley splitting the innings. I mean, it was a challenging year for the UCLA pitchers because it just felt like one after another they faced injury after injury and had each other's back. So she's pitched under pressure as the only option sometimes, but she is just so good at rebounding after a tough game and doesn't think too much about it.
Kedri Lushar right back to Terry. She gets the sisters back to back for the 2nd time, and there are 2 away for Riley McCoy. "19 home runs for McCoy on the year." It's a joy for Oregon. She's just in the game today. She was hit in the face by a line drive at the end of regionals, the final game against Stanford. Missed game 1 of the Supers. Not quite ready to be in the field, so she's the designated player today, but they're just thrilled to have her bat back. 1-1 pitch. Chases it down for strike 2.
I feel like Oregon has chased a lot with Terry. Like pitches that are just well out of the strike zone, don't necessarily even ever start as a strike out of her hand. They're just in this swing mode, anticipating something, and then she's throwing him something different.
2-2 for McCoy. There's an All-American pitcher on this staff, Taylor Tinsley. We've not seen her. Terry has looked the part. Trying to finish 6. McCoy goes up to get a rise ball and pops it out of play. Well, it's 11:29, and we got fans of all ages still crushing it here at Devon Park. And by it, I mean crushing Cheerios, which are right behind him. The duckling. Fouled away off McCoy. You know what I call this? I call this excellent parenting. More excellent parenting. Got the bluey zip up. Wake him up for the 7th. It's fine.
Outside.
3-2 for Riley McCoy. Top 3 finalists for National Freshman of the Year. Taylor Shoemaker won the award. The powerful McCoy on 3-2 swings away and strikes out. She has chased 2 rise balls over her head tonight, and it's another perfect inning for Caitlin Terry.
She has Oregon doing everything she wants them to do, chasing pitches like that, chasing down. Caitlin Terry is absolutely rolling, and Oregon is guessing.
Ramirez, the 96th in UCLA history. That's now the 2nd most alone in school history. They were tied with the 99 team for home runs, and now they're just chasing that 2010 team. By the way, that 2010 team, a national champion, won it 12 for the Bruins. They've won it once since in 2019. Two-1 lead for UCLA, bottom 6. Winner gets Texas Tech Saturday night, and the losing team will face Ole Miss tomorrow. Heart of the order against Lindsey Grine. Jordan Woolery, who singled and had her pinch runners score in the 4th.
Strike.
Takes a strike. Ayanna Shaw checks in for defense, replacing Des Patman in right. Patman's spot is due up 2nd in the top of the 7th.
Outside.
And with her big hits of late, this is probably just a 1-inning defensive substitution. Whatever you can do to contain these big batters, Woolery and Grant.
Staying away from her and down too. You know, the pull power, that home run that she hit against South Carolina was up and in. A similar pitch to the pitch that Alexis Ramirez hit out of here with her home run.
Lindsey Grine's 90th pitch. Slapped over the shortstop, Sinicki. Another base hit to left for Woolery.
It's a pitcher's count. Lindsey Grine goes to her changeup. Just a good piece of hitting by Woolery. The body position, look at her hips and her upper body, how it's falling over in front of that pitch, but so much good body control to be that far out in front and hit it that hard. Jordan Woolery is a special hitter.
She stays aboard for Megan Grant.
Strike.
Remember, Woolery and Grant have the most combined RBIs of any duo in UCLA history. 165.
Ball.
Grant was just 5 for 21 in the tournament last year. Did have 6 walks. This season, 8 for 20, 4 walks, 2 homers, a triple. He's driven in 6.
Ball.
And she feels like she's gotten back to her natural swing this year. Another great late inning note for UCLA. Megan Grant's the best late inning hitter in Division I. Big swing on strike 2.
Yeah, she said she just got back to her roots, more like her natural swing that she had in travel ball. Swing that she felt more comfortable in, more of a simple load, a swing that just allowed her to trust herself and her process a little bit more.
2-2. Grant takes low.
My favorite quote that she'll say, though, is, "I love ball." I mean, she said that multiple times when we had a chance to talk to her yesterday. I love ball. And you can tell that she loves ball.
She loves hitting ball. She loves taking ball 4. And she'll take one there. Megan Grant has 46 walks to 9 strikeouts on the year. And the Bruin Bombers are on base with a little smaller ball. A single for Woolery on a 1-2, and then a walk for Grant on 3-2 to put 2 on here in the 6th. Both UCLA walks in the game for Megan Grant. She'll be removed for the time being for a pinch runner. Riley Pinedo takes over.
Tell you what, too, it's just a one-run game, but ever since UCLA's party in the bottom of the 3rd, where they didn't score, but then they brought that energy into the 4th and did score with the home run, it just feels like UCLA, even though it's just a one-run game, it's just taking complete control of the momentum and every part of which way this game feels. And Caitlin Terry with continuing to get outs, feels like a bigger lead that they have than more than just one run.
Well, here's Missy Lombardi. Oregon's going to make a pitching change here in the 6th. Elise Sokolsky is in from the visiting bullpen. So Lindsey Grind goes 5+. This is what they love about the Stuck staff. Grind gives up the ball, gives Sokolsky a hug, and she'll cheer her teammate on from the first base dugout in a 2-1 game. Lisa Sokolsky had an ERA in even 2 this year. Second year with the Ducks, has been a breakout season. She'll try to keep this a 1-run game in relief.
Yeah, second most starts on the team, had the most saves this season, used to coming in relief, and in tight games, she'll enter in relief of Grind. Go to her rise ball and drop ball, spread the zone vertically up and down with those 2 pitches, but the changeup is what you hear all about when it comes to Sokolsky being able to mix speeds beautifully.
There's the line for the moment for Lindsey Grind, who is responsible for 2 runners. And one of the nation's strikeout leaders, got into 15 2-strike counts, only struck out 2. UCLA sends up Senek Kuro as a pinch hitter. She's an excellent bunter. And that's exactly what Oregon's expecting her to do. And Seneca's bunt backspins into fair territory.
She's there.
It landed right in front of the plate, and Cox got it at the last second to throw her out. Second and third, nobody out, though, on the successful sacrifice.
So much spin off the bunt. Goes down and then lands and takes a complete turn. She definitely thought that was going foul. What a roll.
So here's Ramirez with 1 out.
Strike.
There's that changeup. Ramirez smiling all the way. She's driven in both runs with that 2-run long ball in the 4th. quickly in an 0-2 hold. The gummy pickle spears have been a very important part of the dugout party here. As disgusting as that sounds. Ramirez, remember, homered on a 2-2 pitch in the fourth. Does not need a hit here to bring in the third run with only one out. And she doesn't get a hit. She doesn't get anything. Big strikeout for Sokolsky.
Good energy from Sokolsky, too. Being able to get this strikeout on a rise ball outside, spinning that rise ball low through the zone. Her most used pitch. Huge out in a one-run game late in this game.
And here's the freshman Kanaya Bragg. Bragg was moved to the starting shortstop position March 1st when Alina Garcia got hurt. Shuffled their whole infield around. They gave Bragg some big responsibility, and she's been great. Thrown through to second, and the pinch runner was caught off the base. And now Woolery's tagged out at third. Lisa Fernandez wants obstruction. Pinedo, the pinch runner, wandered way too far off second. UCLA, it appears, will not ask about obstruction, and this game will go to the seventh.
I love Emma Cox back behind the plate for Oregon. She has such a good arm. Oregon plays this well to prevent a run. No miscues on defense. They're just down by one going to seventh.
Last year at the World Series had Caitlin Terry start and Taylor Tinsley finish all three games. It's been all Caitlin Terry tonight. She's got a 2-1 lead. She's got the ball in her hand, and she's got the middle of the Oregon order. Paige Sinicki, Des Patman, and Emma Cox, three big, powerful bats coming up.
Strike.
Terry did throw a complete game against Nebraska in the Big Ten tournament. Typically doesn't go the full seven the way UCLA uses this staff. In that game, she struck out Jordy Ball 3 times. That's ripped. That is fair. It's inside the bag at third. Sinicki's on her way to second, and she's in there. A double that just traced the chalk. Kelly Inouye Perez will call for a challenge, but as it stands, it's a leadoff duck double.
Paige Sinicki has such quick hands to get to this curveball on her hands and try to keep it fair. Remember, it was fair on the field, and because it was fair on the field, they will be able to challenge. If it was called a foul ball on the field, they wouldn't be able to, but
the ruling on the field is a fair ball. That call is being challenged. This play is under further review.
That's the plate umpire Jim Bertuzzi with the call down the line. And my oh my, was that close. Does this ball go over the bag? Does it hook away from the bag? Does it graze the bag on the way by?
I don't think there's enough to be able to overturn it, because all it has to do is slightly go over that bag, and I think it does. I don't think there's enough there to definitively prove that it did not go over the bag.
If it hits the glove in fair territory of Woolery, it would be fair. It doesn't look like it did. Does it kick off the bag here?
I think that's a fair ball. I think it crosses over the outside part of the bag. What do you think?
I don't know how you overturn it. It's just awfully close. And we have every look you could possibly want here. Just an amazing array of cameras we have at this park, and we'll find out from Chad
After
Sears.
review, the ruling gets upheld. It's a fair ball.
Oh, how
that
about
is UCLA's
this?
first challenge.
Paige Sinicki. You're going to start a rally for Oregon? Of course it would be Paige Sinicki. And if you want to finish off a rally, of course it would be Desiana Patman. Two walk-offs in the tournament, and though she can't do that as the road team, she can deliver some more late inning heroics. All set up by the Duck leader, four-year starter Sinicki. The tying run at second. Patman's going to bunt it foul. Well, down one strike now. We'll see if she decides to swing away, and if she does, this is what she's done in the postseason.
And that was in the regional against Stanford, and then she did it again in the super regional against Liberty. So clutch. We asked Sam Martyr how to describe her, and the one word that she used about Des Patman: fearless.
She's going to try to bunt again. She gets it down. It's her fourth sacrifice of the season. And Sinicki, the tying run is just 60 feet away with one out. So Oregon plays it a little safer here with the big power bat. They're going to go for the tie and hope that the freshman Emma Cox can at least deliver that. Cox is taking strike one. There is nobody up in the UCLA bullpen. It's all Terry. 1-1 to Cox.
Line on a freshman here and a freshman on deck, a freshman in the hole. This Oregon team has so many talented freshmen, and they get a chance to step up here late in the game.
1-2. Bunting to a trio of freshmen may sound strange, but they don't feel like these freshmen should be called freshmen anymore. They have so much trust in this group, this coaching staff. See if it pays off. Cox held up. Chris Neighbors at first says no go, and it's 2-2.
Ooh, that's one that could go either way. Easily it could be rung up on that one.
And she just gets a piece of the next one. That swing or that check swing, depending on what color you're wearing, you see it definitively. And if you're neutral like us, you can probably make the case either way. The freshman out of Thornton, Colorado. Biggest at-bat of her young career. Pops one out of play. It remains 2-2. All three of Emma Cox's brothers played college baseball. 2 years ago, her brother Jonah played for an Oral Roberts team that won at Oregon in the Supers. Trying to come through for Oregon in the World Series. On the ground to third, Woolery goes home. Out at the plate. You know Oregon's going to ask for a challenge here. See if there's obstruction. See if Sinicki's foot got in. The call on the field is out number 2 in the 7th.
I was looking to see where Lefty Ramirez's left foot was planted to take this throw. Sinicki went immediately when she saw the ball was down.
The ruling on the field is out at home plate. Oregon is challenging that ruling. This play is under further review.
I think they have a case, but I'd love to hear what Christy has to say.
Christy, what do you think?
It's going to be a very tough call. The pitcher's left foot is set up right on the edge of the area that would be considered obstruction. So this is going to be a tough call for our video review umpires.
And Christy, just a reminder to folks at home, which part of the base needs to be open here for a runner on obstruction?
The leading edge of home plate is that square side. right where her left toe is. So she has to be about 6 inches inside the fair line to be considered not obstructing.
And also, Christy, is there any part of when Sinicki starts her slide and when the catcher moves into maybe that obstruction position that the throw beat her so badly? Is that going to be a part in this at all?
Not in this case. It looks like she's set up to receive the ball and doesn't move her feet in the act of receiving. So she's already determined her setup position. So again, this is going to be a tough call.
All right, Christy, thank you so much. It's Christy Cornwell, our rules analyst. The call on the field is out at home. And there's really nothing at stake but the whole game here. Would be the second out of the 7th. It would be a runner at first, or it's going to be the tying run and only 1 out in the inning. Jim Bertuzzi had the call of out. Everybody's favorite rule, obstruction, is in play once again. And with the tight distance between bases, the way plays develop quickly, this rule always comes into play, particularly in the postseason, in the World Series, in these close games. And we're just waiting for Chad Steers to get the call from the Replay Review Center right here at Devon Park. A long review here to determine whether Oregon's tied the game. What do you think?
I think it's going to be obstruction, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, because you're sick of seeing obstruction.
Yeah, and for no, it doesn't matter who's on the field, who the run goes to, but just I hate that a game would come down to that when everybody's playing hard. I just...
This review is taking us pretty close to midnight here in Oklahoma City, and I think it's about to be over.
After review, the call on the field has been changed. We have obstruction, runner is safe. That is Oregon's first challenge.
And it's why you push the envelope in base running and send them the extra 60 feet to be aggressive, because you know now with obstruction in our game that could always be something that happens, that the defense misplays that they put themselves in a position to potentially have an obstruction call, and then you score. That's why you want to be aggressive.
That O on the chest of the Ducks fans now stands for obstruction. And oh my, what a scene we have in OKC. Oregon 2, UCLA 2 on game-tying obstruction. Stunned silence on the other side. Reagan Legg comes on as a pinch runner at first as the catcher Ramirez gets called for obstruction. A day where she put UCLA in the lead with her 2-run homer. Caught Kaylin Jones stealing to end the 5th. But she's called for obstruction, and Stephanie Maake will bat with 1 on and 1 out. Rips the first pitch, which is Caitlin Terry's 100th to the screen. The 99th by Terry, who's on the verge of triple digits. Well, we are not getting an explanation for what's going on here. I'm ready to play some softball. How about you?
Yes, please. We have the whole end of the game left.
Yeah, there's going to be a bottom of the 7th now.
It's a tie game for the 7th.
Stephanie Mackey is the batter. Those are some pretty subdued star glasses and party hat looks in the UCLA dugout. They're going to have a chance to win it. They have 7, 8, 9 coming up in the bottom.
Outside.
Well, and think about that decision to bunt Des Patman and get Sinicki over to third base to put themselves in a position to push the envelope, be aggressive, ball on the ground, and just try to score her.
Little looper. It's caught at second by Pola. I wondered, we've had enough Manning things, maybe she'd try to drop it and then get the pinch runner out at second, but I guess that is a level of crazy that's reserved for maybe another day or inning or batter. So Kaylin Jones is 2 for 2. She'll try to extend the Oregon 7th, which has included a run. It's still leg over at first. Pinch runner who's played 45 games off the bench. She's 5 for 5 as a base stealer. Ducks second in the nation in steals, but they've only attempted one. That's Jones, who was thrown out. So UCLA's done an excellent job controlling this amazing run game. So we asked Lefty Ramirez about. She said it's just a lot of anticipation. It's about staying calm as a defense. They were all over that Jones attempt in the 5th. Bragg, Mujica, and then Terry, starting pitcher. The 3 due up in the Bruins 7th. Chop to third, Woolery to first. Low throw handled by Grant. Here's why the game is tied. It's tied because of a double by Sinicki, a sac bunt by Patman, and then an out that was overturned to obstruction. UCLA catchers everywhere howling in pain. Ducks screaming in joy. We march on after midnight.
You came looking for a light beer, and you found gold. Modelo Oro.
Later tonight against Ole Miss, and the winner gets Texas Tech officially tomorrow as we have crossed into Friday morning here. 12:06 Central here in Oklahoma City. 10:06 p.m. back home in Westwood and Eugene, where the Bruin and Duck faithful are hoping for a day 1 win. It'll be Kanaya Bragg first. And take a strike from Elise Sokolsky.
And I just go back to what Kellyanne Perez told us, that we take pride in being able to do things in the second parts of games.
That one hit sharply to short. The Gold Glover Sinicki makes it look easy. Well, both teams bunted in their last respective at-bats. Remember, UCLA had a single from Woolery and a walk from Grant. Pushed the runners up on a sac bunt by Seneca Curo, and then Lefty Ramirez struck out. And then the pinch runner Riley Pinedo strayed too far up second, leading to Woolery getting picked off between third and home. So the Bruins had a real chance to add to the lead. They played for one, didn't get it. Oregon played for one and got it to tie the game.
That's how close this game has been. That it's been a game of extra 60 feet here, sacrifice bunt here, making decisions with pinch runners and pinch hitters coming in to execute.
One to the freshman Mujica. 8 home runs on the year, and she grounds this one into center. The winning run is aboard with 1 out for UCLA. Since 2000 in the whole NCAA tournament, The UCLA Bruins are 101 when leading after 6. That's the kind of history that Oregon's trying to dent. And the Bruins will bring in a pinch runner now as the potential winning run.
That is an epic graphic. Wow.
Taylor Stevens, who drew a pinch hit walk to lead off the South Carolina rally in Game 2 last weekend, now comes on as a pinch runner, where she would be the winning run here in the 7th. And it's Caitlin Terry, the starting pitcher, who could walk it off. First pitch from Sokolsky in the dirt.
And Kellyanne Perez told us too, we train for these moments. It's something that you feel, it's something that you practice. There is a feeling, a vibe, an energy, but this one quote is, of course, one I wrote down. It's this "we will win" mentality.
Sky-high pop from Terry. Foul ground. Caught by Flannery at out number 2. Well, Jessica Clemens doubled her last time. Another one of those might end it. Bruin fans will fondly remember their last World Series walk-off. It was Kinsley Washington in the Champ Series to win it in 2019. With a game-winning single, a title-winning single over Oklahoma, 5-4. It's fouled away by Clemens in her World Series debut.
That's why we love being the home team, too. Have a chance to have the last word, to have that walk-off moment.
The UConn transfer to the Cal Poly transfer. You think about what college sports are like right now. Oregon and UCLA would have been UConn and Cal Poly a couple of years ago, and here they are on the biggest stage in softball. In the air to center. That's hit well by Clemens. It's gone! It's the day of the walk-off. Ella Parker to dead center for OU. Jessica Clemens right down the middle. UCLA wins it after midnight.